Hi, good evening all. Good evening, good evening, good evening. A couple of minutes late. I was having, well, I don't know if I'm having technical difficulties. Normally this stream goes out to Facebook and YouTube. However, there seems to be an issue with the YouTubes. So we may just be going up to Facebook. So if anyone is watching, if you could hit the like button, say a comment, say where you're watching from, make sure, yeah, kind of introduce yourself. So we'll have a much more kind of interactive session tonight. We've got some good topics to talk about. Just going to send a quick message for a fault on this. There we go. All right, so that's that done. Okay, so I can see here we have 3 people watching. If you could drop a comment, drop a like, that'd be great. So, good evening, guys. We are in Q4. Sales are starting to take off and really start to move. So I can see a post here. Yep. Okay. So we've got a couple of people watching. So yeah, in terms of what we're talking about tonight, it's going to be an update on the event that we've organized in December. We've also got 3 kind of big topics to cover in a bit of a Q&A. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everyone to introduce yourselves, where you're watching from, what you want to get from tonight's session. I've got 3 things. I'll just bring them up so I don't forget. So the most popular topic to talk about tonight was organizing your time. I'm quite precious of my time, and yeah, we would do a lot with an iGen, and which I've now transferred across to my business. That really helps just leverage time and systems and things. So it'd be great to talk about that. I could talk about that pretty much all evening. Excuse me. And the other two topics is funding for your business. So I've got some news on that, and also Q4 bonus scheme for your team, which got a couple of votes for that as well. So first things first, just to talk a little bit about the meetup that we have got organized. Hey Sebastian, hope you're going well, buddy. We have a meetup organized on the 17th of December in Manchester. Just to be clear, it's quite a casual, informal event for networking, meeting up with other sellers, kind of celebrating the year. Now, let's have a look here. There's a lot of people kind of say that they're going to go. However, we've had a lot less people kind of book in as compared to people who said they're going to go. So basically the setup that we've booked a room in the Hilton, and we want to kind of eat together and kind of have all that type of thing going on. So the room is pre-booked. So if you do want to come down and join, it's £40 for the night. So it's £40 for your dinner, so 3-course meal, and also a drink whenever you arrive. So if you do want to come down, I understand that obviously Manchester isn't handy for everyone. However, Self and Eamon are flying across to Manchester, so if you want to come and meet up with us, meet up with Luke, meet up with other people, yeah, it is a little bit of effort. You do need to bring some energy, but all these events are well worth it. I mean, we had a meetup in Birmingham. Really, really good to meet up with Gavin Sweeney. Gavin Sweeney's coming up, I suppose, not down to Manchester. He's going up from Birmingham. I've got a few other people booked on as well. So if you do want to come and something that you are wanting to come up to or down to, get booked in and let us know in the booking link that you are coming. Because, yeah, we need to prepay things and book the room. And just to be very, very clear, this is not anything that we're making any money from. The £40, £40 doesn't just, it covers basically the room, food and drink, and then that's it. So it's £40 for all of that. And yeah, the food there, I ate there last time I was in Manchester. It was great. And yeah, really looking forward to, can I bring Molly? I'll ask for you. I assume that's Kelvo. Yeah, I'll ask for you, Kelvo, if you could bring your girlfriend. I'm sure that's fine. Plus ones are included. So yes, if you do want to come, bring a partner, come down yourself, get booked in on the booking link. Just to clarify, if it's two people coming down, obviously there's going to be 2 meals. So yeah, if you want to get booked on that would be great. So drop the link for that. And if you want to come down, get involved and meet up, it's the 17th of December, which is Friday. So we've booked it for that weekend because Luke is back from Mexico by then. It's basically the weekend before Christmas. So if you're involved in Amazon, then you'll have all your Amazon FBA stuff in. If you're prepping, you're probably kind of going downhill in terms of your workload, and you're kind of taking your foot off the pedal at that stage. So if you do want to join us, get down, and if not, we'll be organizing meetups in the new year as well. So cool. Let's go through a couple of things that people wanted to cover. Let's see here. So the first, I've made a few notes in this. So as with all things, if you guys do want to get involved with iGen and discover a little bit about what we do in terms of to support people who are trying to scale a business or even just start an Amazon, get yourself booked in on a call with Liam. It's a discovery call. There's no obligation or anything like that. And there is a goal setting, capital needed exercise as well that we can run through for you. So if you're wondering how much money, if you're wondering how much money it'll take for you to start an Amazon business to eventually replace your income, if that's your goal, if your income from your job, there's an exercise we run through called capital needed. So if you are earning, I think the UK average wage is about £2,500 a month. So if you want your Amazon business to replace that income and you only have a certain amount of money to start off your Amazon business with, we can run through an exercise to basically say if you start with X amount, it'll take you X amount of time to replace that amount of money per month with enough money left over to invest in stock and so on and so forth. So we can run through that for you. Or if you want to do it another way, you can basically say, I have X amount of money to start with. What can I make this into in a year's time for an investment in something else? So we can run through that exercise with you. That's basically a big part of what I kind of wanted to talk through this evening. So that exercise, there are different goals that you'll set in life. Generally, the most kind of clear goals that you can set are financial. They're very, very black and white. Either you hit your financial goals, you don't. Obviously, their financial goals are important, but they aren't the be all and end all. Health goals, relationship goals are very important as well, if not more so. However, they're what's why we call abstract, so it's very hard to KPI them or put them into numbers. So financial goals, business goals are very, very easy to KPI. So that's where I feel a lot of people, that's where I would say a lot of people fall down because they don't start off the business with a clear goal or a clear number in mind. So after a while, once the honeymoon period wears off of learning new skills, then it's very, if you don't have a clear plan, then it's very hard to keep going towards something. It's very hard to keep driving towards somewhere that you don't know the actual end destination. So I made a few notes on this. So if this is interesting to you guys, we can talk a little bit more about it. I will share I've shared the call booking link. So if you want to run through that exercise with Liam's very good at doing it. Run through financial planning for your Amazon business. So you can start off with X amount and it'll take you X amount of time to reach a certain revenue number, a certain profit number. If you do want to go through that in detail, it's very difficult to go through it in a call like this because everyone's going to have different goals. If you do have goals, pop them in the comments in terms of your revenue goals, your profit goals, that type of thing. So let's go through. We've got a few people watching. So yes, I'm going to just share my screen. Okay. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to share this link out to a few people who wanted a reminder for this. So guys, who all is watching tonight? Who's logged in? I know Kelvo's there. I think Sashi liked this post too, and Sebastian Zibo, he is here as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. How's your week going, guys? Have you had a good week for sales? It's certainly been good in our team. Cool. So just put this up in the event so people get notification come through. If you also want to share this, guys, feel free to share this on your timeline. Cool. So just post this in a few other places. There's a few people who are after a reminder. Cool. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's everyone. Paul was asking, Paul Hutton was asking a question. He seemed to ask a question a few days ago and then log on again, expecting to see an answer. So it's just a bit of a shame that I think I've had a really kind of busy group recently, so his question got pushed down. So hopefully he got an answer to that. Cool. So yes, guys, let's go back into this. Bring me on to getting their sales picking up. Yeah, so basically I want to run this session as a Q&A session. So I assume, I'm not sure who that is, it's maybe Kelvo. Yeah, so Kelvo, they've got kind of 9 people voting for one topic and then another 5 people voting for 2 other topics. So I'm going to cover those. Getting there, sales picking up. Yeah, that's good. I think the big spike for sales is it's generally around the 20th of November, the 20th of December. So so that's the real kind of spike in sales. Cool. So yeah, we're coming up into the 10th of November today. So yeah, we can see a spike in maybe a week and a half's time, something like that. So in terms of the main things to cover, I'm just going to share my screen if I can maximize that. I think we can have a full convo of all on FBA. Yeah, I mean, guys, if you have any questions, just drop a question below or something that you want to talk about. We can talk about that too. So yeah, it's funny when you do these on your own and you've got a bit of, what is it saying, radio? You shouldn't have any dead air in radio. Okay, cool. So let's see here. Yeah, Kelvo, if you want to, can't you bring me on to help the group? So in terms of what we're covering, we're going to be covering the 3 things that people voted for. So I'll be doing more of these. I think we'll do one at least once a month. So I'll put up a poll, and you can basically vote for what you want to cover. So if you want to chip in on anything like that, Kelvo, feel free to do so. So share my screen. Okay, so I'll just pull this up now. Okay. Cool. Okay, so main thing to share, I think in terms of organizing your time, excuse my knuckles, basically the way that I think people get, there's a lot about organizing your time and making the most of your time. Just move that over. Yeah, so there's a lot about, I mean, there's so many self-help books and a lot said about organizing your time. The biggest thing that helped me move the needle in my business is this phrase here. So I'm just going to pull up my phone just to make sure this is sharing properly. So it's make money first. So if you are sitting with a list of things to do, the best advice that I can give is advice that I picked up from an Amazon seller in Ireland, a guy called Conrad McGill. He used to be quite active on Facebook, but not so much anymore. I think he's probably got too big. Well, he just wants maybe a quiet life. So Conrad McGill, make money first. So if you have a list of things and you're finding it hard to prioritize, then the way to look at your list of things is what's going to make me money. So business 101, the only ethical requirement a business has is to make money and to be profitable. So by prioritizing tasks and activities that will actually make you money, that's the biggest thing that will move your needle. And what Conrad and I certainly agree with is that lots of different things, lots of different small things that you feel are quite urgent but maybe not important get in the way. What you'll tend to find is that if you're prioritizing tasks and activities that make money first, you'll find those little small jobs get kind of caught up and they get done when it's not so important. So there is quite a lot to this. I've had a few people, I've sent a couple of videos out from clients, from Blueprint clients, and we're going to be running a coaching session on how I've kind of structured my week and what that looks like. But really, there is a hierarchy of how you go from weekly priorities to upwards. So I would say the bottom of your kind of importance pyramid, I just made that phrase up, by the way, are your weekly priorities. So what is it that you need to get done this week that will help you make money first? It's generally sourcing and purchasing. So that's basically what you need to do as an Amazon business, followed by prep and repricing. Now, I don't want to get too bogged down in the details of this. There's a lot of other concepts you can bring into this. So do you delegate, do you systemize, or do you outsource? You can outsource, systemize, or delegate pretty much all of this. But depending on the stage of your business, that will be down to the size of your team, the size of your budget, and the size of your business. So these are your weekly priorities, can be called daily tasks. However, there are 7 bullet points above this that basically feed into what you will do each day and each week to move the needle and to make money first. So I'm just going to open up the floor if anyone's got any thoughts on this. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is going to go a bit skew. I've been trying to sign into Workplace Facebook, but I don't know why I haven't been able to. Okay, dude, good to see you here. Okay, so just keep going on. So basically, this is kind of the lower end of the scale. So this is what you need to do each week, each day to keep the lights on the business. So what happens is that what I certainly find within coaching calls and people when they have maybe been running the business for quite a while, that these weekly priorities and daily tasks take over the vision or the goal of the business. So most people start Amazon to either, well, most people that I speak to certainly start Amazon to replace their job, or at the very least give them some extra income. So in terms of how you move the needle, sourcing, purchasing, prep, repricing, all these daily, weekly tasks, they can be systemized, they can be delegated, and they can be outsourced. So your repricing can certainly be systemized. You can then, once you've systemized it, you can then delegate it to a member of your team. Prep, enough said about prep, that you can certainly outsource that. Purchasing, can't so much outsource it, but you can certainly delegate that off and systemize it to a certain extent within the business. And sourcing, yeah, you can definitely get your team built out to help you source. So I'm going to talk through kind of how I would set my week up, and the way that our week is set up is with an alignment meeting every Monday morning. Now, the alignment meeting, we basically have a set of things that we need to get done that week, that month, and that quarter. So we have already set these out at the start of each quarter. So when we're looking at our weekly priorities, our daily tasks, these are covered. I suppose that should be moved on about there. Yeah, probably should be moved on like that. So each week we have a meeting every Monday morning where the team comes together and we basically discuss what it is that we're going to do this week, issues that haven't been resolved from the week before, that type of thing. Now, For the people who are watching this who don't have a team or are doing this themselves, you can do this yourself. You can basically sit at the start of each year and just set yourself goals and targets. Now, in terms of standards and KPIs, I'll go into that in a little bit moment. But when you are trying to achieve a goal or a target, the standard for doing this and the best way to break this down is to break it down into quarters. So there's 4 seasons in a year, and there's 4 quarters in a business year as well. They align with each other, and there's a reason for that. There's 13 weeks every quarter, 4 quarters in a year, so 52 weeks a year. So, not to get bogged down in too much detail, when you are starting your business, you need to start with a very clear goal and a certainly very clear target in your mind, because when you are 6 months in and things are getting not boring, not monotonous, but you're maybe thinking 6 months, I'm not as far on as I thought I would be. If you haven't set a target, you've got nothing to compare yourself with that target. So with all these targets, they need to be, oh, that's white, I believe. Yeah, so you need to change that to black. So they need to be smart. So we had Rita Davies on previously. She was talking about smart targets. A lot of people set smart targets, but they all need to be smart targets. So does anyone know what a smart target is or what that involves? If you do, drop a comment down. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be covering, this is a wee bit complicated. So I'm going to be covering funding for business shortly. I would like to help folks from the starting point as soon. Okay, let me just see who that's from. Spare me a second. So hopefully, as I'm going through this is kind of a helter-skelter run through for how you organize your time. So this is going to be different for everyone. And like I would say, the best way to get a clear picture of how this works is to jump on a discovery call, because everyone's goals, everyone's story is going to be different. Everyone's going to be starting at different levels. We've helped people start from zero and get to £6,000 in less than 3 months. We had Stephen interviewed a few weeks ago, sorry. Had Zebo on. We've had Hamilton scale their business as well. So we are having some massive success with our clients. If you want to be part of that, we are running another case study program. So basically we'll bring people on and we'll sit down and work out smart targets, time-based targets based on the capital that you've got available, and put something in place that is actually achievable and realistic. A few clues there. Can you bring me on to help? Okay, I'll cover questions in a moment. So in terms of that's what we'll discuss on discovery calls. And in terms of organizing your time, these processes and these strategies, the book that I would recommend that these are built out from is a book called Traction. So Traction, you can buy it on Amazon. I've recommended it to Kate. I've recommended lots of other people. We base our meetings on the type of philosophies and strategies in there, and it is easily it's the most valuable book. Yeah, I'd definitely say I would say the 4-hour work week had a massive impact on me. Rich Dad, Poor Dad definitely had a massive impact as well. Traction in terms of Traction in terms of actual things that you can implement rather than just theories is way out there. So it's a book called Traction. 100% recommended to everyone. Just saw a message come through there that was really throwing me off. So I can't actually remember who. Gino Wickman. So it's written by a guy called Gino Wickman. He has a whole library of books. Rocket Fuel is amazing if you have a team. Traction is a must read if you're trying to implement different things within the business. I would 100% recommend Rocket Fuel if you have even one person working with you in the Amazon business. If you want to understand why, send me a message or whatever. Yeah, Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman is massive as well. These bullet points up here, we discuss these on strategy calls. So if you want to understand kind of what comes above goals and targets, we'll discuss that on a call as well. So hopefully that's been helpful. I would say that if people are struggling with organizing their time, it does come down to your priorities. I see a lot of people on Facebook basically saying that they're struggling for time and they're unorganized and they're really kind of struggling to set aside time for certain things and so on and so forth. And then they'll also be, well, not to be unkind, but basically if you have very clear goals, targets, and they're time-based, they're specific to you, and they have a really strong meaning, then it's very easy to prioritize your tasks and set aside time strictly. I can cover this in a little bit more detail, maybe in another. Can you send me the books mentioned this live afterwards, please? I certainly can. It's here. So Traction. Where is Rocket Fuel? Oh, Rocket Fuel's in my Kindle. So that's the book there. I'm probably minimized, so I'm just going to stop minimizing. All right. Yeah, so here you go. Traction, Gino Wickman. I don't even think it's £10 off Amazon. Yeah, game changer. It's written if you've got a team, but you can certainly get a lot from it if it's just you and your own, and it'll certainly, if you're, the other book that is, that really helps with prioritizing and systemizing, I can't remember who wrote this either, but there's a book Kev Blackman recommended, Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About It. Just Google it again. Why Small Businesses Fail. Yeah, Gerber. Michael E. Gerber. So Gino Wickman actually references this book in Traction. So Kev's book is really good as well, The Perfect System. Yeah, I'm sure. I know Eamon ordered it. I know Eamon ordered Kev's book. I haven't got around to doing it, so I'm sure it is very good. I would 100% recommend Gino Wickman and the E-Myth Revisited, Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About It. So it basically talks about business owners, three kind of stages of business owners. So you've got the technician. So if you can imagine like a plumber working for a plumbing company and he's getting fed up and he wants to work for himself, he's a technician. So when he goes out to work for himself, he needs to manage his own time, manage marketing or whatever. So he then needs to transition from a technician to a manager, but then to actually drive the business forward, you need to become an entrepreneur or a visionary. You need to have a vision for the business. So you go through like the 3 different stages. So it's really, really good. E-Myth Revisited, Why Small Businesses Fail, What to Do About It. Fantastic book. I actually only read that about a year ago, and like I would read a lot of business books, and that was one that kind of escaped me. So thank you, Kev, for sharing that. I got it for him. Kev's book is really good as well. The Perfect System. Yeah, Kev's. I'm sure I haven't got around to reading it. If you want to send me a copy, we'll certainly review it. I think that's what it's called. I got it for him. I'm sure. Cool. So, yeah, I'm conscious that that doesn't really help. There's not really, this is how you'd find an extra hour a week, but make money first and prioritize your tasks in that way. Because if you're prioritizing making money first, you'll all of a sudden have more money, and then you'll be in a position where you're actually able to outsource things, delegate things, or systemize them. So if you're just starting off and you're wondering how people are able to have teams in the Philippines and things like that, and how people are actually able to invest in like our admin BA training or sourcing BA training, and where you're finding your extra £100, few £100 for that. If you're prioritizing tasks that make you money, then you're able to then take that money and invest it in a system, team, that kind of thing. Cool. When I said I got it for him, I meant I got it for Eamon. Oh, I know who this is. This is our affiliate on the Isle of Man. She's in the kingdom of her own. How's it going, Claire? Hope you're well. So, second thing that people wanted to cover was funding. So, in terms of funding for your business, there's a lot said about credit cards. 2 main ones: American Express, Capital on Tap. American Express isn't really a credit card; it's a charge card. There's a difference, so on and so forth. Capital on Tap, yeah, I can drop a link for that if you are interested. Capital on Tap link there, but everyone knows about those 2. So when you're maxing those out and you're still not able to get growth, where do you go? Now, I had Dan on from Payoneer a few months ago. Payoneer basically works as a cash advance. So they will access your Seller Central account, look at your sales figures, and then offer you cash advance. So they'll give you a lump sum based on your volume of sales, and then you pay them back out of your sales as they come through. So there's that. However, there is not a new kid on the block, I don't think, but just recently, both Eamon and I have been using Clearco or Clearbank. There's no affiliate link. They don't do affiliate referrals or anything like that. The chap that I have been working with is the manager there, a guy called Nathan Ford. Clearco, Nathan Ford. I'm sure he will. He would meant a bit of space in there. Apologies. Clearco, Nathan Ford. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? No, I'm just going to go into my emails and get his email address. So if you want to get in touch with him, go for it. Yeah, it's nathan.f, copy address, nathan.f at, where are you? Clearbank with a C.com. So they work in the same manner as Payoneer. They'll offer you a capital advance. However, the difference between Clearco and Payoneer is that you can use Payoneer for any funding. So if you wanted a capital advance, if you wanted to take money out of your Amazon business for something that was super urgent, like a new car, a new company vehicle, or you wanted to invest in property or NFTs or crypto or anything exciting and crazy like that, you could pull money out of your Amazon business via Payoneer and do it that way. Now, the way Clearco work, they work in much the same way. However, the difference between what they will fund you for and what Payoneer will, you can use the money for anything, whereas with Clearco, you can only use the money for either marketing or inventory. So if you're a private label seller, they'll give you thousands and thousands of pounds to market your private label. If you are arbitrage or wholesale, they will give you money to pay for inventory. However, the way it works is that you will need to provide them with where you're actually going to be buying that inventory from. So if you're buying them from Isle of Man Wholesale, you'll get an invoice from Isle of Man Wholesale. They will pay that for you, and then you pay them off at a much lower rate than Payoneer in terms of capital advance. So that's kind of the trade-off. You can use Payoneer's money for anything. You could go to Avis, you can do whatever you like. With Clearco, you can only use it either for inventory or marketing. So that might be worth looking into if you're at the stage where you've maybe maxed out your credit cards for Q4 and you've come across a wholesaler that you can get an invoice from and you're really struggling to get that paid off, or really struggling to find money to pay for that invoice. Get in touch with Clearco. I was set up within cumulative time, so the amount of time I actually spent on it, I was set up in about an hour and a half. It was 2 half-an-hour phone calls and about half an hour worth of paperwork. So it was very, very good. Your margin is defined by your sourcing. Not sure who that is from. It's true. It certainly is. And the final thing was balance, or no, it was a bonus for Q4 for your team, I assume. I think Daniel Gilmore put it up. So yeah, Eamon stole this idea off me. If you employ anyone in the Philippines are lucky enough to have what's known as the 13th month of pay. So the way it works is from Christmas, 12 months in a year, 12 salaries in a year. But for everyone that's based in the Philippines, employment law in the Philippines requires a 13th month of pay every December. Now, obviously, if you're employing people or having people subcontract for you or whatever your arrangements are within the business, and you're using people in the Philippines, they would naturally expect to receive a 13th month pay. So the idea that Eamon stole off me was, rather than a 13th month pay, there would be a 13th and 14th month pay. So set a target very specific with our margin, capital that we've got available, and if my team hit that in terms of sales and profit, we will be awarding a 14th month of pay. So yeah, basically, it'll be basically a double bonus for December. So yeah, that's kind of the idea that we're going with. So yeah, if they don't hit, then we'll do something else, and we're going to do some time off as well. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty helter-skelter. I would say that if people are wondering how to work out the capital that they've got at the moment, whether it's worth starting an Amazon business at the moment, book in discovery call, get involved. You'll be chatting with Liam. Is that going to work? I think so. Yeah, you'll be chatting with Liam. He'll talk you through how it works, what we offer, the guarantee that we offer, and he'll show you a few people that are in this position after 3 months, in this position after 6 months. And yeah, you can make your own mind up on our support. Zebo, we had Zebo on last week. And the big part of what we do that can't really share is the community within the mastermind. So we're going to be doing a lot to actually improve that going forward. We're potentially going to be moving onto a different channel, and we're going to be pioneering that. So I had hoped to announce something this week, but we want to make sure that it's going to be up and running before we launch it. I don't want to do anything in beta. So yeah, we're going to be announcing something probably earliest towards the end of this week, probably next week. So, Kelvin, are you sniffing glue? Can you send the books mentioned in this live afterwards, please? Thank you. 2 books I mentioned, Traction by Gina Wickman. Can't believe I forgot who wrote that, because we have been through every page in detail, and it is dynamite. It's great, especially if you've got a team and or even if you've got ambitions for a team. So with Gina Wickman, he references the other book that I mentioned, E-Myth. Why is it E-Myth? I think it's the Entrepreneurial Myth. I think that's what it's short from, something like that. So he references that book in Traction, and a big part of that is, there's mature businesses and infant businesses. So yeah, if anyone's in the position where they're trying to scale a business and they've got certain things that aren't quite right, rather than scaling something that's set up properly, you start to scale problems, and those little tiny problems get bigger as you scale. So they scale in proportion with that, sometimes exponentially. So in terms of what E-Myth talks about setting up a mature business from day one. So you have your core values, you have your standards, you have your KPIs set up, and then you can move on with that. So Thomas, Luke, Kev Blackburn, everyone doing big numbers, that's the process that they put in place. So yeah, it's a I think I'll do an email on that just to discuss how that works. So yeah, hopefully that's helped. A bit of interest. There's not really any questions that I can see in there. Claire, Kelvo, thank you for joining in and logging on. That's all I can kind of recognize in there. If you've got any other questions, guys, I'll hang about for a little bit. 25 comments. Kev's book is really good as well. Perfect system. Yeah, well, if anyone watching this on the replay would like access to our book, we have a free guide. I'll get a link for you guys now. So if you guys would like the free guide, I'll put the free guide below here. So you can check out our book. Cool. So guys, if there's nothing else, I'm going to wrap everything up. Just to summarize, we have our meetup in December. If you want to get involved, make sure that we know that you want to get involved by getting booked on. Yeah, we need to know how many people are going to be showing up and how many people need fed. because there's nothing worse than unfed, hungry people. So yeah, hopefully that's been of interest. I know it's the big push for Q4. Let's see here. I'm not sure who this is. So I know it's the big push for Q4, but are you also for Q1? Uh, that's so strange that whoever, let's see who that was. In a moment, yeah, I'm already thinking about next year, to be honest. Not that Q4 is by any means over or even started. It hasn't really even started to peak. But I was chatting with Eamon a few days ago around plans for next year and what that looks like. So yeah, it's very insightful, whoever that is that's posted that. Great question. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started planning for Q4 February time, February, March time. I wanted four four people in my team to source, and then kind of two looking after kind of admin and things. So that would have been an overall manager, or if you've read any of Gino's books, an integrator. So an integrator that would basically manage the team and allow me to, you know, manage the kind of vision for the business. So I wanted one team member for that, and I had someone in mind for that from the very start. Then, yeah, I wanted a team of four people to source, and then another person to kind of look after the admin side of things, because I know that would scale. So I wanted 6 people plus me in place for Q4. I wanted everything outsourced, and I wanted certain sales targets hits going into Q4, which we did. Less £300. I set a target for 150k in Q3, and we missed it by about 300 quid. So set another target for Q4. We are well on way for that. I will be discussing that next year, I think. Well, I will be discussing it next year because I won't know until next year, obviously, if we've, our results. And yeah, I've already started to think a little bit about next year, what that looks like, what the business looks like, and the direction of it. So yeah, I put up a post September, try and link it. Yeah, so like I said, kind of at the start, I'm very precious for my time. So I worked out that over Q3, yeah, so over Q3, let's copy this. Yeah, so over Q3, I did on average 11 hours a week on Amazon. The reason, and I think I explained in the post. Yeah, I explained in the post that I could have worked less on it, to be honest. However, I genuinely enjoy Amazon, and I really enjoy the team that I built. So yeah, I enjoyed those 11 hours a week, and I want to grow the business, so I need to put my time and my energy into it. So, are you prepping for Q1? Yeah. Oh, it was Claire that asked that. Yeah, Claire, Eamon and I have already been talking about Q1 and 2022. So, yeah. Am I prepping items for Q1? Well, yes, I suppose I am, because I'll be putting in an order tomorrow for products that will sell. They're basically evergreen products. So if that's what you mean by prepping, getting products ready for Q1, and yeah. So hopefully that's been useful for people. Yeah, thanks, Claire. Yeah, if anyone's interested, I know it's hard to like that. That's the post. So I did like a Q3 review. Yeah, just missed our target, but kind of happy with that. So yeah, hope that's been of interest, guys. Like I said, with the meetup that we've got, if you want to come down or even just unsure, just send me a message or send Eamon or send Luke a message to basically say what's the crack with this. Yeah, we're pretty approachable, pretty friendly, and yeah, have a good night to meet up with people. So hopefully that's been good. I hope that's been useful. I'd like to have gone into a bit more detail. We can do that. You can do that in another week. But otherwise, I'm going to end the call. Wish you all buenas noches. And yeah, see you next week. Take care, guys. Stay cool.